Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to another episode of the Exotical Storytime series. This girl that I'm going to talk about today was literally bashed for defending unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women. So let's go ahead and get into it. She says, "Hi. Once again, thank you so much for this initiative. There has been so much anguish in our community that no one talks about. I have so many stories to tell, but I will only tell one now. Firstly, this is the instance of a free-thinking / uncensored black Facebook group in my city. This group was not the most constructive or forward-thinking, but I'm a pro-black extroverted leader type, so I decided to use the platform to stimulate crucial dialogue for the black community, instead of weave recommendations and favorite sex position topics. I mentioned my experiences with colorism against dark-skinned women as a light-skinned woman, and mentioned how during the midst of a breakup fight with a black American brown-skinned man, his point of contention was, because I'm light-skinned with a big butt, I think I can get whatever I want. I retorted, what does skin tone have to do with it? Every woman should have what she wants. He responded, man, you know dark-skinned women gotta do a little more work to keep a man. I was shocked and embarrassed and told him not to speak about my fellow black women that way. I knew light-skinned women were the preferred type, but I never perpetuated that notion, so it made me uncomfy. So I brought this up in the Facebook group, and the vitriol I was met with was appalling. Dark-skinned black women commented, this never happened, said no one ever. See y'all, light-skinned women are evil. We don't need your pity party. Wow, you really think a lot of yourself. I'm like, wait, I was advocating for you all, my fellow black women, and you're responding as though I'm the villain? Talk about an inferiority complex. And then she attaches some screenshots. But yes, I've noticed that if you are not a monoracial, unambiguous, dark-skinned black woman, you're not allowed to speak on their behalf. So I can't speak on unambiguous, dark-skinned black women's behalf, yet they can speak on light-skinned women's behalf. They can speak on mixed women's behalf. They can speak on biracial women's behalf. They can speak on what it's like to have our hair textures or our phenotypes or our experiences. So that's exactly what they were doing to you. You spoke up in defense of them, and instead of them trying to defend you or having empathy for you with witnessing colorism against dark-skinned black women and saying, wow, that guy is a jerk, instead of keeping that energy towards the guy who was the real colorist, they decided to keep that energy towards you. And I've noticed this same pattern that happens all the time with MLS women. By the way, when I use the term MLS, that means mixed of any complexion or lighter skin, monoracial, which this woman is. So yeah, I've noticed that if you were a light-skinned monoracial, if you're a light-skinned monoracial black woman, you are not allowed to speak up on behalf of your own people. And that's because I've noticed that in the eyes of black women and men, you are what you look like. So everything is just based on how you look. They're very obsessed with skin tone. So it's like, even if you are African based on DNA, they will still try to push you out of blackness if they feel like you don't look enough like them. I notice they do this to East Africans. They do this to darker skinned mixed women. They do this to lighter skinned monoracial women. So in their eyes, race is just what you look like. It has nothing to do with your background, who your parents are, what your experiences are. So they feel like if you don't look like me, you don't get to speak on my behalf. But it's so funny how they won't keep that same energy when it's their turn to speak. They love speaking on behalf of light-skinned women. In fact, they will sit there and argue back and forth about who's light-skinned and who's not, which blows my mind. It's like, since when are non-light-skinned, unambiguous, monoracial African Americans arguing back and forth and having a whole entire dissertation talking and like showing pictures of you in the winter versus you in the spring and summertime and calling friends and family members to determine whether or not someone is light-skinned? But I'm not surprised about any of this. What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.